I had over 5,000 followers on TikTok, and I ended up leaving the platform. To understand why, you've got to know the full story. But before I start, I should preface that this is not a hate video on TikTok. I'm not going to be talking about how it's toxic or how it's ruining people's attention spans or whatever. If you want that, go to another video. I'm going to talk about my personal experience with the platform, what I learned about it, how it works, and how I realized that it wasn't for me. So with that out of the way, let's talk about this. When I first started making content, I watched a lot of social media guides, how to go viral, how to use the perfect hashtag strategy. I got super inspired by these, and I thought that they would make me huge, make me able to sell a bunch of books, which was my goal. So I employed the most popular strategy right away, which was have 3 main platforms and post on all of them regularly. I wanted to make videos because that's one of my favorite ways to interact with these platforms. So I chose YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as my main platforms. I tried my best to update regularly on these, but I didn't always do it because I was working a job and I was trying to publish my first book at the time, and I also was pretty amateur at making videos. But I did my best, posted as regularly as I could, and I noticed that the highest views were over on TikTok. So I decided to focus on that platform. However, there was a problem over there. The videos that were getting a lot of views were not about the things I was passionate about. In fact, it was this one video that I posted about an anime that I'd seen a while ago that I wanted to share with people, and it was supposed to be super casual. It was terrible quality too, and people loved it. It blew up. And after that, everyone who was coming to follow me only wanted to see anime content. And I thought, is this okay? Like, can I talk about anime when really this platform was supposed to be about writing because I'm trying to publish my book? And I asked a bunch of people and they were like, yeah, you can talk about that. Just make sure to mix your writing content in and you'll be fine. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. I guess this is my niche. I did that for a little while, but I found that I quickly burnt out of it. Anime's cool and all, but that was my high school self. All the ones I was recommending were ones that I watched and vetted and really hunted down in high school, and I was no longer watching anime anymore. I didn't want to talk about it forever. So I quickly lost motivation. I quickly fell off of whatever semblance of a schedule I had, and then I realized I needed to reevaluate. So I thought, hey, people are starting to like me on here. Maybe if I change niches, they'll stick around and my views will still increase. That did not happen. When I started making author-related videos, my views plummeted. I watched other authors around me, indie authors I was friends with on the platform. I watched them take off, which was great for them, but it also made me feel terrible that my own content wasn't. Even as my videos steadily improved over time, it was still so hard to get anything to go anywhere, and I couldn't help but feel like I was doing this all wrong. So I started testing out other things, talking about zombie apocalypses, the environment, history, anything I was remotely interested in. Some did well, some did not, and as I fell deeper and deeper into trying to be trendy, I lost track of myself. I was always really cranky and grumpy every day when I was filming because I knew deep down I didn't actually want to be talking about the stuff that I was talking about. It was a struggle every single day just to come up with ideas that I thought people would like. I was constantly trying to please other people and never trying to please myself. And finally, I started passing the 4,000 follower range, the 5,000 follower range. I was getting a couple thousand followers on Instagram. YouTube was slow because I was pretty bad at posting long form content at the time. But what I saw as my main platforms were popping off. They were doing really well. But I hated every second of it. I got frustrated over the little bitty things, like if my hair was a centimeter off in the video, I'd be like, I can't post this, I hate this, why can't I ever get it perfect? And this caused me to burn out over and over and over again, making my posting schedule more and more inconsistent. Then, in December of 2023, I published my first book. I justified up to this point that everything would be worth it once I had published Life Amongst the Giants, because once I had that big audience, they would get the book, I would get decent sales, and everything would be awesome. However, since my audience was not built on that niche, nobody cared. And I remember at first I resented them. I was mad at them for this, but I thought about it for a while, and at the end of the day I realized I only had myself to blame. Because even though I did this, I made this whole platform to build an audience for the books, and I changed the content because the writing content wasn't getting enough views, that still was not my target audience. So of course, they weren't interested. This felt like the last straw. I finally realized I couldn't take this anymore. It had not gotten me to the goal that I wanted, and I had to change something drastically about my content if I wanted to make it anywhere. I felt lost for a moment, and I felt really depressed, but I didn't want to give up. And finally I realized that since the platforms I had built didn't get me what I wanted at all, I basically had nothing to lose. So I decided to start over. This time I was going to do what I wanted content-wise. I was going to prioritize being genuine and being who I really am. And I promised I would stay consistent above all. This is when I came up with the idea for the podcast, because I wanted to tell more of the stories that are in my head. I also started writing down tons of reading and writing ideas that had been sitting in the back of my head for the past 2 years. I then thought, if I can do all this though, hey, maybe this time I really can do it right, and I can blow up like those other authors. So I researched SEO, hashtags, and I created the perfect social media strategy. However, upon launch, meaning when I started the brand new TikTok and Instagram accounts, I ran into the exact same problem. Even though the videos were very high quality this time, better than they ever were on the old channel, honestly, I still got hardly any views. TikTok was the worst too. Like, I don't know what happened, but they plummeted from 500, which is kind of the average, 300 to 500, that's what you get when you start out as a new creator, to 1 to 10. They hated me. Not sure why, but they did. However, on YouTube though, things were a little different. And that's when I finally started to see TikTok for what it really is. It is meant for people with short attention spans who just keep scrolling and scrolling on to the next thing. People who always want to see the next trend, the next dopamine hit. It is not for building a loyal audience, which is what I needed for my business. At this point, I was completely burnt out at TikTok. I had been trying it for 2 years. It was my main platform. I didn't want it to be anymore. In fact, I didn't even want anything to do with it anymore. So I made YouTube my main platform. I have finally started posting weekly videos, and they are about the things I want to talk about. I don't care if it takes a long time to grow this platform because of that. Because now I'm genuine, I'm consistent, and I'm excited to get in front of the camera every day. The moral of the story is this: don't do what's trending just to get views. You will burn out, and not every platform is for everyone. In fact, those social media influencers on there who are giving you advice, most likely they're trying to sell you something. They don't have your best interests in mind, and if you are a sole proprietor, someone who is doing this all by yourself, you are not going to be able to handle more than one platform at a time. So focus on one. Focusing on more than you can handle will only lead to burnout, and you will get nowhere. Trust me, I've experienced it. Even if everything happens super slowly, I'm okay with that. It's better than what I was doing before, and I know that once I do get an audience, they will be loyal, and they will be interested in what I have to say and what I'm doing. I love you guys, and if you stuck to the end of this video, you're a real one, you're my favorite person. I hope I've inspired you and all that stuff. I say that at the end of every video. And comment down below if you have a similar experience to me, or if it's different. If you totally disagree with this, that's fine. Everybody has their own paths, and I'm learning to take mine one step at a time.